market cannabis tainted with toxins. Drug cartels are shipping migrants to Northern California where they're forced to work on illegal marijuana farms.
Well, these farms are also threatening California's water supply. CBN correspondent Chuck Holton reports on the far-reaching repercussions of the crisis at our southern border.
The impact of migrants pouring across the U.S. southern border is reaching here in Humboldt County, California, helping fuel a rise in illicit cannabis operations staffed by undocumented workers. Instead of escaping poverty and oppression, many migrants often find a rude awakening here in America.
So modern-day slavery is happening here. Labor trafficking is a major deal here when it comes to marijuana. Like I said, it's something to where, you have, this is still very much organized crime. And we have organized crime and syndicates from all over the world that are here in California that are invested in growing marijuana illegally and funneling through the markets, again, throughout America and throughout the world. And so they're bringing in their own labor and they're forcing them here to work against their will. And sometimes they're sold into sex slavery. Sometimes they're just used for labor. And we even had a case here about 10 years ago where we had 2 people from Guatemala that were shot.
It's not just that these illegal marijuana grows here in California are a driver of 70% of all of the illegal marijuana consumed in the United States. It's also not just a driver of a whole lot of illegal migration to work those grows. But one of the biggest problems caused by these illegal grows is right here, what you see behind me. The very precious resource of clean, clear, drinkable water here in California as they come off a 100-year drought. These plants take a lot of water, and they take a lot of this drinking water off the table for the consumers here in the Golden State.
This stuff is obviously, we have a regulated market now in California under Prop 64. Many states have regulated cannabis, but this is the illegal stuff that will never be allowed. It's on public and private land. It's not grown with permits. It's not organic. It has deadly pesticides on it. Some of them, brother, that are so deadly, they were banned by the EPA in America 20 years ago.
In addition to the health threat posed by pesticides, the men running these secret farms are often armed and aggressive.
They're armed. They don't, want to give up in many times. There's a lot of poisons that we run across, and exposure could be deadly. And actually on the private lands, it's even more dangerous because it's so much concentrated.
The origin of these hidden operations traces back to a familiar evil south of the border.
And we got to remember that it isn't only a cannabis problem that these cartels are part of. These cartels are also the same groups. If they're growing black market cannabis that's tainted with these toxics, they're also trafficking, dirty fentanyl pills that are killing hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Dealing with these issues daily, Sheriff Honsal believes he's in the right place.
We see in Humboldt County and in California good versus evil. We see the evil of child abuse, of drugs, of sex trafficking. We see people's worst days every single day. And we have a very difficult time sometimes dealing with that and coping with that. And I believe if you didn't have a Christ-centered life, you can't rationalize that. God has put me here, and this is my mission, the Sheriff's Office, the people of Humboldt County, and when God tells me that it's time to go, I'll go.
From Northern California, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Well, it's incredible to me in an age of legalization that you would actually find this kind of black market still happening. But it is, and it's happening not just in California, but across the nation. Be aware there's a reason we call it weed. There's also a reason we call it dope. And what is happening is the demand in our country for this product is what's driving this. And we need to all recognize without that demand, none of this exists.